Okay, so this is our rig. That's where we are. We want to start animating it. I just make a file. I save this as a because so you want your rig to be as clean as possible. So I just call this rig for now. Or give me a second. So I save this ghost rig version, I don't know, 5 or 6 or whatever it was. Then I save it as again as so because you want a like a generic name. So first of all, let me just tell you guys how to work in a project. You don't import your rigs, you reference them. So so inside my project folder in the scenes, you see that I have the model. So it's good to group them in the folders. So modeling or model, and then I have rig construction or rig process. So what I do, I put these relevant ones in the folders. So these are the backups. But I keep the main rig out because that's what we're gonna start using it and referencing it. So what I do, I clean up. So you have to clean up as much as you can. So how to start? So delete anything that is not needed. So I don't need. So the lights, as you can see, this dome lights uses an HDRI, which I keep in mind what it is. So I'll keep that. We'll use that. So I delete the light, delete the camera, delete the guides as well, because the guides were supposed to be used for updating the rig. I assume that my rig is ready to be animated. So I delete the guide. So you see that it's very clean here. So what I do as well, I look at the well, I'm gonna find the window rendering editors hypershade. So here also you have to make sure you don't have any extra or unnecessary shaders, so you can get rid of it. So by just edit, delete unused nodes. So anything that is not used gets cleaned up, which is awesome. So now I have a very light, so if you see before saving, it's 6 megabytes. When I save it, it becomes smaller, like 1 megabyte smaller, which is still good. So I press Alt B so I get a brighter background. And so I start new scene. So what you do is so let's say I want to start. So what I want to do, like I just have a simple plan that this character walks like moves from left to right with a facial expression or something. So a simple animation. So as you know, like one of our best resources for animation is the Animator Survival Kit. So if you look at some of the references I saved here, possibly it's such a thing like this ghost looks around. Actually, there's a better version of it, which is this one here. So so this ghost looks to the left or right, and then like in a squash and stretch way faces towards left to right. So how to start? First of all, save your file. So I make a folder called animations, and this is, let's say this is ghost shot 1. So I save it, and then I go to the file, create reference. So you don't import it, you create a reference, and you bring the rig in. So that's my rig in. So why we do referencing? Let me just open another Maya so you get an idea why we do referencing. So if you want to update the rig, so this is what happens. Let me just set a camera while another Maya is opening. So I add a camera, I look through that camera, I turn on gates. I like to turn on this as well. So let's say this is the staging of my project. So that's my camera. I would like it to be wide angle. So like if you select your camera here, focal length is, I set it to like, let's say 22. So I get like a more wide angle feeling to it. I'm gonna open the rig here. So why we work as a reference? Because of this. This is your rig. This is your animation shot, which is referenced. Here you see that the reference. So this diamond next to them shows that they are referenced. So if you adjust the rig, so maybe you just realize, oh, I forgot something in the rig, so I'm going to adjust it. Maybe I change the size of this head to fit within the head. So like I want to change the size here. I'm going to resize it here. And so that's my adjustments, right? So you do some adjustments. You save your rig folder. So I save it here. And so let's say, assume that you might have 10 animation shots. All of them get updated when you go to when you close or open it, or in the reference editor, go to the file reference editor. You just right click here and say, or just click on this like refresh button here. So I should see this rig. Oh, you see that it just get updated. So this is the magic of like referencing, and this is at the core of group working, team working. Is you must reference your rigs to be able to make use of a team working capability and work alongside a rigging artist. So let's look at our reference here. So let's do some, let me just set the time from 1 to, let's say, it's 24 frames per second. So let's say 10 seconds, or 4 seconds. Let's go for hundreds frames. So let's do some blocking. So the blocking is that this is the ground. So for the animating, you know that you never animate this one that says word. This one should not get animated. Actually, I should clean up the rig a bit. So let's say I should select this one and select the shape and make it larger, very large, and move it to the middle. So everyone knows that this is the word and you should not animate this. Why we don't animate it and what's the use of it, I show you now. So I'm going to save my rig, go here to the updates. So you see that as the animation goes forward, every time I can update my rig. So go to the reference editor and update my rig. So I get that updated. Let's select it and update it. I get that updated rig adjustment that I did. So this is used for repositioning everything. Oh, what happened? What happens? Did I break the rig? I think I did. Okay, I know what happened. So that's why you should back up. So I should have not said that. So if I go to the rig process, so what I do, I just reopen the backup. I make sure that it works. Let's see if it works. Oh my god. I think I managed to break the rig. The reason is no, let me see what's the issue. Is this skinned? It is skinned, but it doesn't show here. Okay, so I just re-skinned it. For some reason the skin was removed, so I added the skinning, and I think the eyes also, yeah, they work too, and the neck movements of the head functions, and the hands as well. So I think I'm ready. So I save the rig. So this is what you have to to. So I wanted to. So again, like let me just save this and reload it to my animation. So that's why you need to do referencing. If the rig breaks or anything happens, you just fix the original. And if I refresh this, I should get my rig working. Yes, it does. Definitely make sure that. Yeah. So, okay, let's start animating this quick and fast and rendering it before it gets too late. Okay, what I do is that I make use of this global rig for repositioning it, not the world one, just the global one after that, which is this one. So my character is standing here, maybe, and then why the okay, this one's not coming along the
It's ended.
okay. So what I was saying that is that these like UI is not coming along with it. So so instead of animating the global, which is this one, I animate the world one, so it carries the UI as well. So my character is standing here first, and so your friend in animating is this mGear synoptic, but AniPicker is the new synoptic, but I still make use of this legacy one quite a lot. These are mGear tools. So so I use this for animating because like if you move anything around, like lots of different things, and then you realize that, oh, I have to fix things, or just go to the bind pose. You just press reset bind pose and it jumps into the bind pose. So it just goes there where the binding has happened. So also key all is the one that I use quite a lot. So I position this here, and then so let's say key all here. So it waits for a second, and then like key all here, and then like in a very quick time, maybe if you just rotates and travels to, let me just set this to world because I wanted to move it this way. Travels to here, and then the keyframe key all here again, and here looks up a bit, key all. So basically this is my, if I set the playback speed to real time, so I see the real time. This is my, let me just make it smaller. Oh no. So this is the my framing. It's a bit slow. So maybe I hold shift, select all of them, compress the keyframing range. So like blocking always is like useful because it just gives you a sense of timing. Still it looks slow to me. Maybe faster. Okay, so the beginning looks a bit rushed. So I select all of them except the beginning. So I move this slightly forward. And maybe I just bring these two closer together. So it would be fast in between. Fast. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Maybe 50 frames is enough. So that's my setup. And then I start animating other things like here, like the character starts to look up. Key selected. Oh, but I can just press S here. And just here, like let's say, if you remember the reference, I can come down here, like ooh, and here actually rotates the head. So there's something. The best thing to rotate for this rig is that neck that I made it available actually. So I'm gonna animate that as well. So the neck looks down, and then here I think sorry, okay, here it just character like rotates the head, but like in a non-destructive way. I want it to be like not too much. So it's like so here a bit of like spine movement would help. So I select the spine, go to the beginning. So I start here adding key all. So here all of them are keyed. Here the spine can compress. And next they can like do a bit of body rotation. So it's like, whoop, what's happened? And then like, so here so you can see that like in the reference there's a bit of stretching on the way up. So like let's say it just goes here, from here a bit of stretching would be interesting. So what I do in between here, first of all, I just like lean it. So you guys, I move this to the other window, but every time I just press key all to make sure everything is keyed. And here, so I don't want my camera position changes, so I select my camera, select the attributes and lock it. So if I even want to, I cannot move this camera. So like you can tear off a copy of this camera and move it to your other monitor, and then like every now and then you can like use perspective for let me just go back to the camera. For selecting or like closer access, actually what I do, I tear off a perspective because you guys want to see, we only have this window. Okay, so here I think I would like to stretch the on like kind of lower part of the body out a bit. Maybe, yeah, like this, like stretch it out a bit. So and then key all again. So you see that I'm building up the animation step by step. Oh yeah, like that was like a nice heave, like kind of like a arc going down and then reaching here, and responding to the so I would like this. So if we look at the reference, the reference blinks here, and maybe somewhere in the middle. But I did the blend shape of the blinking, but it's gone for some reason. So what I do, I go back to the original rig, and I go to the window, animation editors, and shape editor, and I add a blend shape to both of. So I do like both of them together. Actually, I should do one by one. So this one, blend shape 1, and then add a target, which is the vertices compressed, and inside. Same for this one. It needs a blend shape and a target. So I don't rename them. I don't have time. So like what I so you but you remember it from last week that we just did that. So now these two eye targets, they just work for blinking, and I can connect them together by general editors connection editor, and just load this one on the right click, select blend shape, not this one, on the right, and select blend shape, load this one on the right, and then select blend shape on the left. Actually, I should do this. Okay, so now I can connect the weight of eye left to the eye right. So we only have one for animation, which is great. So I save this, and then I go back to my animation. So you see again the beauty of using referencing. Go to the reference editor, click here, select here, click. All the reference gets loaded. So now I have blend shape on the eyes. I only need one of them to be selected. So let me just select one of the eyes. I think, where's the blend shape? Oh yeah, it's here. So one eye, so this one is enough. So what I do, like here, I right click on it, key selected, and here gets closed. Press S. Oh, not S. Actually, just right click, key select, because I only want this to be keyframe. So here should be closed, key selected, closed, and here gonna be opened, key selected. Let's review it. Let's look at it. that was a nice blink at that time. So here also like could here key selected, a blink key selected, and open key selected. So like we have now two blinks, one here, one here. So once I am happy with the animation, actually it's good to animate the arms as well. They are FKs, so they can be easily like moved around. So I bring forward my, actually I need synoptic view here. My synoptic view, and here arms are maybe here and here a disk, key all, and here I would like the arms to be down, oh, as much as we can, which is like this. Key all. And here it would be lovely to have arms pointing backwards. Actually, what I do is that I go to the end of the action, which is here, and I say key all. But in the middle, like here, it would be nice to have arms pointing backward as far as we can without breaking key all. So it's like, ooh, like you see that an arm action here. Okay, so now it's time. So you see that I didn't turn on overlapping on the. So I have two overlapping functions. If you look at the so if look at the UI, we have one overlapping function for the uh, in this section, which I just like I break the connection for them because I don't want them to be animated, and I turn them on for the tail, for the hat, and also for the spine that holds the chain spring information for the lower body. As I turn it on, much more damping, maybe 0.9, and much more stiffing, maybe 0.6. So if we look at through the camera, now they should function too. Oh, you saw that one? Like, oh, they are so soft. So I'm not happy about the softness. So what I do, I select their face, a stiffness maybe 0.8, and for the spine, which is this one, this little one here, 0.85. Let's play it one more time. Oh, that's too stiff now. 0.7. Stiffness 0.7. Damping lower 8. They stopped functioning for some reason. Let me just turn them off. And then turn them on again. So they are off here. So it's off here, and now I only turn on the head now. Lower the stiffness, maybe 3. Okay, head functions now, and maybe turn this one on. Lower the stiffness on this as well. Maybe back to 5%. That one for some reason doesn't work. Oh, I possibly know why they're not working. So we have to set the playback to play every frame free, because that's too fast. So what I have to do, maybe I make a play blast of like a play blast. So this is our play blast. Very low quality, it doesn't matter because we want to just see the animation in action. But they are not working still. Let me turn this off and set playback to real time. Go to perspective. Let me just tear off the perspective for here and go to the camera. What if I undo until I get to the point that we had them keyframed? Because it, okay, so this is where we were. What I do, I just right click and breakdown select. No, I just want to delete the keyframe on face UI on this point, or only on a chain spring intensity. Okay, so possibly this break connection not only broke the connection for the keyframes, but also like kind of the metrics. That's why, because we don't need to animate the UI, so I just select all the keyframes here and I right click on them and delete. Okay, good. So the face UI, which is this tiny little one, is not animated. I do the same thing for the spine UI as well, and delete the keyframes on it. So you see that it becomes like pale red now. It means that they are not animated. So if I press 1, let's say 1, it stays 1 of all through, or okay, I have to find a way of, okay, so I go to the beginning, I set this one to 1, and I add a keyframe on that one. So I hope this one stays 1. Oh, it goes to 0. So what I do, I just go to the window, animation editors, dop sheets. So we don't want keyframes. Actually, this one doesn't have keyframe at all. I just added 2 keyframes. I delete them. Oh, okay. So that dop sheet is what we want. So I select the spine one as well, which is here. I can see it, and I delete the keyframes on the spine. So you see that, like, bring the dop sheet on and just make sure that those ones, because UI is not supposed to be keyframed, it's just an attribute holder. So now I set this to 1. I should see the movement coming through. And also I turn on 1 on this spring chain as well. So let me save this. Let me run it. Oh yeah. So now you see that all of them works. Okay, cool. So we did a bit of like clumsy animation. It's just like, few minutes animation, but good to experiment. Let's say you want to render this out. Currently, everything should work if I load my lighting kind of rig. Again, your lighting rig could be a separate scene in Maya, and you reference it if it's like a repetitive rig, or if it's just like a simple lighting setup, you can copy and paste it to different scenes. For us, we just have a sky dome, Arnold sky dome, and we have this HDRI here, and then we make sure that the light is not visible in the camera. So then we can, once we are happy, just do some test render. So you see that it just brought all the textures and everything we wanted. Actually, a bit of repositioning of the light is nice. Okay, so let's say this is the lighting setup that you want. I saw many of you before start rendering in these window rendering editors. Render settings, many of you just start bumping up this AA, which is the multiplier of all the samples in the scene. Don't do it. First of all, start with this process that I'm going through. So set your camera, set the resolution, which is 1080, and in Arnold, go to the systems, and possibly here you set it to GPU. So here you see like a lot of fast rendering added. Like it gets somehow close to Redshift if you use it wisely. Here it says that this computer has an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090, which has about 20,000 megabytes available free. But here it says minimum memory is like 512, so you can bump up this to like I don't know, 2046. So you start to like make yourself a lot of memory. You have to close this and you have to run it again, and it takes a bit of time for the first time, and then after that becomes fast. You see here it says GPU update 89 nodes. So it's basically reprocessing all of your textures. So once it's reprocessed, after that your renderings should happen much faster. So this got rendered, but it's noisy, right? So here is how to start upscaling the you see that here, like all of this, like when you switch to GPU, if you have a good GPU, guys, use this technique. School, this, especially this lab, you have same GPUs, which is like a good one for rendering using GPU. So turn it on, and then here is where you start bumping up, not the sampling of the AA here in the camera, but go to the scene, start with increasing the sampling of your light, which is here is 1. Let's go 8. And you see that it's much cleaner now. But you still like may need to do some noise reduction. So if I click in the setting here, guys, so you can start add imager denoise optics. Denoise optics is an NVIDIA denoiser which removes the noise. Let me just bring this on so you can see the noise in action. So here is the camera, and this is like denoised. If I turn that off, actually this is a very clean render, quite fast for a few seconds. I would like to see a noisy one, which so anyway, if you get like a noise, just bring the denoiser and use it. It just denoises a lot of noise. So once you're happy with all of this, as easy as going to the Arnold, you have to go to your rendering F6 on keyboard, render, and render sequence to the setting of it. And you just say that I'm going to select render camera 1, and I'm going to render into the folder. It just goes to the images and name it like ghost shot 1 render. Actually, I should select this folder, and the name gonna be on the render settings and render settings, which is here, and the name gonna be here, or it just takes the name of your scene. If you see here, it says single frame. Don't say single frame. Say that it's a sequence from 1 to 50, and the padding, which is 00 something, is 4. So it's just 4 padding. Render sequence. So what you see, it opens. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna stop it because I'm gonna hide. So I press escape on keyboard to hide it, to stop it. So I stopped the rendering and I set everything, and I just wanted to hide the camera. So what you do, let me just do one last test render. Yeah, looks cool. I can rotate everything. So this doesn't look, oh yeah, doesn't look dark on the glasses because the glasses are iconic. So I'm happy with what I got. As you remember, I boost up the light sampling, which was one, but I turned it into 8. So I think I'm ready, sort of. So all you do is F6 on keyboard, go to the render set menu, render, and then render sequence. And you just save it here and render sequence. So it starts rendering very fast actually. The view is on the other monitor. It's really hard for some reason to move it to this monitor, but let's wait until the rendering is done. So it's frame, now it's frame, you can see it as this one moves forward because it's just plays it frame by frame and renders it. As it goes, we can test render like what's happening. So you see that it's frame 23, it's halfway through. We can go to our project folder. In the images, you see that like up to here is rendered. Actually, what you can do, just drag and drop this images into Nuke, and then what you get is you get this one. So far it's rendering this amount of frames. So I can start working on it. Usually you have a background coming from the scene as a 3D background or a film background. So let me just I can use the same lighting setup. Like let me just grab an image background. Just for testing, this image seems like the HDR that are used for the scene. Before starting, I have to press S on keyboard. I have to set the range, and I have to set the resolution. The S in Nuke is a like set up the project. So when I put this on top of my project, and I have to reformat this into so I just brought this in not as a proper background because I have to defocus it, and we're not gonna see a lot of it, so I just like defocus and possibly darken it. So just a background. If you look at the background, let's see how far we are in the rendering. Rendering is over, so like I can double click on it and I can, or basically what you can do is press R on keyboard and reload it again, or drag and drop this into your project again. Actually, there's a bit of like other stuff in it, but that's what I need. So if you look at the rendering of what we did, yeah. So let's play it. So that's my character blinking. There's a bit of blackness. I can position some light so it stops this from looking black on this side. So there's a bit of a stretchiness on the body here, so I have to avoid that. So, but that's a good start. So I have a character rigged and rendered and ready to work on. So that was an entire pipeline from the modeling into rendering, and like a bit of like draft comp at the end.